Hello, today we're going to be talking about the village of Albinurics and the pit below it. I hope you enjoy, and let's get into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the poison. Yes, that's right, the poison. Why is it there? Last time I checked, poison doesn't just show up in one night. So how did this swamp of poison get under this village? I feel like it's more likely that the village was built on top of the poison, not that the poison came in after the village was already there. I say this because of who this village is for. The Albinurics are very discriminated against in the lands between. If you look all throughout the game, you'll see signs of this. I think the Albinurics were forced to live here above a poison swamp as some kind of punishment for just simply being an Albinuric. If we keep going under the village, eventually we will come across something very disturbing. It seems like some Albinurics fell off of the cliff from the village. They survived, but now they seem to be covered in poison, just barely alive. We find them here just coughing, barely even able to attack us. Well, not like Albinurics are good at self-defense anyway, but you know what I mean. What's more disturbing is that we have no idea how long they've been down here. Did they fall down weeks ago and just sit there because their legs are gone, or did they fall minutes before we arrived and are almost about to die? Take a look around from where we are. We will see this tree, and all around it will be Trina lilies. There are also a bunch of crabs here, almost like the Trina lilies are drawing them in. There's even one giant crab who can actually cause sleep, like he'll put you and the other crabs to sleep. I think this is pretty strange, because this is one of the only places in the entire game where the player can actually get put to sleep. Sleep is very underdeveloped in Elden Ring, and to me it's really interesting to see it anywhere, even if it's only on crabs. I wanted to talk about something first before we actually enter the village, and that's the namesake of the village, Albinurics. As we discussed earlier, Albinurics are discriminated against in the lands between, but what even is an Albinuric? If we look at the description of Albinuric blood clot, it says Albinurics are life forms made by human hands. Thus, many believe them to live impure lives, untouched by the Erd Tree's grace. So from this, we can conclude that the Albinurics are artificial life, and they are discriminated against because they are not natural and not created by the greater will or the god of the lands between. Albinurics come in different forms as well, like the second generation and the first generation. For this video though, we're only going to be talking about the first generation Albinurics. If you take a look at the bodies on the floor, most of them actually look human, or at least not like an Albinuric. What exactly a human is in Elden Ring seems to be pretty loosely defined, but anyways, if we look at the bodies, there's red blood on them. Albinurics bleed white, but these bodies are full of red blood. And if you look at what they are wearing the typical commoner garb that we see on the enemy type and on Gostock. I feel like this is likely an oversight on From Software's part, but I do think it's interesting to consider that maybe this village was mostly made up of people. But let's be honest here, this is just for the visuals. I mean, this village has like 6 houses, yet there's what, like 1,000 bodies on the ground? Or even more, you know? So clearly there's something off with the numbers here. Anyways, if you go to the well in the center of this part of the village, you will see a ghost who says this if you talk to him. Albus seems to be very important to this village, and it's for a good reason too. If we come to the plot that he is hiding in and scare him out of it, he says this.
Please, no. Dear me. I haven't a clue. No secrets lie with me, not a one. Oh, please leave me be. Wait then. You're not one of them? Well, what a relief. Oh, goodness me. I am Albus, an Albinauric. As you can see, we're finished. The whole village is finished. The curse mongers have destroyed everything. No one that remains has their wits about them. I beg you. Would you look after this medallion? You must keep it out of the cursemonger's hands. And if you should meet the young Albinauric Latenna, then please give it to her. A chosen land awaits us, Albinurics. The medallion is the key that leads to the city. It's only a quaint treasure for we who cannot make the journey. But for dear Latenna, it is needed to fulfill her purpose. My legs will soon fade, and with them my life. Alas, this is the immovable fate of all Albinurics.
So Albus is someone who witnessed everything in the village, but was able to hide before he was killed. What he gives us is half of a key to an elevator to reach the consecrated snowfield, which, along with Latenna, I will leave for a different video. Back to Albus, he also said something that I find interesting, and that's that he called the people who slaughtered his village cursemongers. The curse in Elden Ring is referring to the omen curse. To simplify it, an omen is a random birth complication or some kind of defect. I don't really know, honestly. But anyways, an omen baby is a baby that grows up to be larger than the average human, and they grow horns all over their body. So a cursemonger is someone who hunts omen, or at least someone who gathers their horns, like Dung Eater. The cursemonger he is talking about is the omen killer and the perfumer found in the village. So why would someone who hunts omen want something to do with the Albinurics? The only theory I can come up with is that they are hunting the Albinurics because they oppose the Erdtree. Omen killers kill the omen not because they want to protect themselves, but because they don't want the curse to spread. Anyone who is born an omen doesn't go back to the Erdtree after they die, and that is seen as heresy in the eyes of people like the omen killers. So maybe the Albinurics are heretical and therefore they want them gone as well. One last thing is who sent them here. And for that, we are going to look at someone I've been avoiding, but now we're going to bring up.
Oh, it's you. Well, what do you make of it? What's happened to this village? I witnessed a sight much the same in my infancy. The oppression of the weak. Murder and pillage unchecked. A waking nightmare made by men. But this time, I'm a woman grown. And though the suffering cannot be undone, I can still mete out justice. Justice to the oppressors. Let the scars I carve remind them. I am Nephli Loux, warrior.
Nephli Loux is the adopted daughter of Gideon Ofnir, and if you notice in the clip I played for you, she says that she has seen a very similar sight to the village of Albinurics when she was young. She wants to take vengeance for the Albinurics by killing the omen killers her father sent. She knows that the omen killers were sent by Gideon Ofnir because she was sent by Gideon Ofnir. After getting here and seeing the carnage, she didn't want any part of it. Now, I'm getting a little bit tired of playing NPC dialogue, so I will just tell you how we know this. After you defeat the omen killer, we can talk to Nephli in the Round Table Hold, and she says that after she killed her father's pawns, she failed the mission. She was kicked out by her father because of this. So now we know who sent them, because she just said that the omen killers were her father's pawns. But the question is, why did he send them there? The answer is with old Albus. You see, when we first talk to him, he gets very upset, because he thinks that we are one of the omen killers. He is hiding the Halictree medallion, and that is what Gideon Ofnir really wants there and is willing to slaughter a whole village over. Gideon Ofnir is someone who is trying to fulfill his duty as Tarnished the best he can. His goal is to kill all of the demigods, and that key, the Halictree medallion, is the only way he can get to Miquella and Melania. And with that, this concludes the dive into the village of Albinurics. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye!
The all-knowing